Welcome back to another episode of New Dad Order, episode 7, where Ray and I get together and we talk about having friendships with people and being accountable on both sides of it and holding ourselves accountable for those friendships, the success of those friends and celebrating it, and what do we bring to the table in our friendships, and having a little bit of reflection on that. Also, a little bit of self-guilt from Ray's standpoint of not thinking that he may bring enough to the table, but we kind of deep dive into that. Also, too, we talk about being a mama's boy and when it's okay and how long is it okay. And also, too, card collecting. A little bit of nerd talk right there where Ray's a little flustered that I wasn't really into baseball cards. No shocker, Ray was into comics. But another episode. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications as well. Drop us a comment. We appreciate everybody. Now, let's go.
Welcome to the New Dad Order podcast. My name is Ray. Sitting over there is my boy Parfait.
Good afternoon, everyone, or morning, or night, or whatever time you decided to turn on YouTube and listen to this. Ray, nice to see you as always.
Nice to see you, man. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah.
Getting through life. Trying to catch up with some old friends that I ran into this past weekend at a travel baseball game of all places.
Travel baseball.
Yes. That's the life we lead in a weekend that we weren't even playing. How about that? Doing a fundraiser for our little team, selling jambalaya at the front gate. Trying to raise some funds so we can go register for a World Series that any team who pays the fee can play.
Yeah, that's the life, man. That's the life. Jambalaya sell-offs, et cetera, just to make that money. Yeah, that's the life.
Yeah, the jambalaya grind. It's a big one.
Yeah, but sometimes we gotta leverage our friends. Friends are big ballers.
You know what, right?
Big ballers.
And when it comes to the world of travel sports, you leverage your friend's success so much.
Oh, yeah.
By the amount of fundraisers and donations that we need that we ask for. But yet, in the end, we just swap money. That's basically what it is. Mm-hmm. Like, let me buy something from your daughter for $25 so you can buy something from my son for $25.
That's about how it works.
It's pretty much what it is. We're just swapping money.
Yeah, it's all.
So, but
it's all seasonal, right? It's all seasonal.
Definitely helps to have friends who can do that. And be the friend who can do that. So, I mean, it's supposed to make you feel good about yourself. In the end, most of those little turds are going to come running through your door and play in your backyard, and yours is going to run to their house and play in their backyard. So it's kind of that big happy family, from the old friends with their kids. The point. Surround yourself with good people. All right, so continue as I interrupt you and make fun of you. Jerrard-Jmparfait here with New Dad Order Podcast to talk to you about a new pre-workout. Relatively new to the market, new to myself as well, but it's getting the job done. It's not loaded with caffeine like a lot of the other pre-workouts, so if that's what you're looking for, then this probably isn't the product. But it is based in nootropics, which actually helps brain function, so if you've ever deep dove into that, this is part of what that product has right here. Going to get you ready for the workout. I'm a 5 a.m.er. Like I said, I need it. A lot of flavors. Hit the link in the description. It'll take you to the website. You'll get a New Dad Order discount. Pick your flavor. Bunch of other products as well. They have canned energy drinks. So thanks for listening. Check out Dubby and get that workout in.
No, it's just absolutely surrounding yourself with good people. I mean, that's the hope, and you hope to pass it along to your kids. I know my 30-year-old, he's out there volunteering. He does a thing for vets.
Really?
He goes out there. They go in their skivvies and they march, and it's more for vets that are depressed.
So it's like a Wounded Warriors type program, but different.
Yeah, it's called something else.
Okay,
I can't think of it off the top of my head. He does one out here in New Orleans. He went to one this weekend, so he's out there doing things away from his job, and he's got a pretty fantastic job. But he volunteers his time.
Is he himself a vet?
He is.
Oh, okay. All right. So it hits really close to home for him to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome to see him doing that at that high level and surrounding himself with those good people and people that are depressed and just helping them move along and move towards, some positivity. And then sometimes it's frustrating when you build this foundation with your family and with your kids, and they don't always go the way you want them to. And we as dads and parents need to understand that as much positivity that you put into them, you still have a world to fight.
Yeah, it's stubborn people create stubborn kids. The thing is that being stubborn can be to your advantage at times because you refuse to give in to those temptations or to those circles that don't benefit you, but then stubborn to get away from those same circles too. So it can definitely be one of those situations for a kid that challenging to say the least. And it happens for a kid, and then it can translate into happening for an adult. And, as we were kind of talking earlier, fortunate to have some friends that have good success in life and to call them friends. I think if you can't reciprocate some type of success in your own life, then those people tend to drift away from you as well.
Always.
So the circle that you keep is strictly based off of what you can provide to that circle, I think. And not in a negative way, if that makes sense to you. Meaning that you're going to be judged by the people that you associate with, and those people are going to decide to exclude you or include you based off of what you can bring to the leveling up, right? I think, but that's the term that people often use. One of the new cliches, leveling up within your life socially. And it used to just be called climbing the ladder, I believe, from the corporate standpoint, the cheesy sayings, but now it's called leveling up.
Yeah.
And so with you not being from here in South Louisiana, living in Pittsburgh area, Buffalo area after college, and then moving back down here, what was the hardest phase for you to make friends? How about that? What was the hardest phase for you to make friends? Was it getting to Pitt and finding your spot in college, even though you're an athlete? You still have to find that group of friends within the football team. Or was it post-college, or was it moving down here?
No, going to college was a lot easier because you have instant teammates, right? So everyone's there for one purpose. To play
But we
football.
all know that there are definitely some college football players that get a little stray there.
Well, of course.
But avoiding those circles and falling into those traps. Like you're obviously able to navigate that.
Oh yeah. It's just when you brought up a certain way, you know who you're going to hang out with, and you'll feel it, right? Actions, I guess the saying is actions are louder than words,
Right.
So when you see guys act in certain ways,
You just avoid it.
you had to avoid. You had to avoid. Like, hey, we're gonna go do this. Well, where's that at? Deep over. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. We're just gonna go do this over here.
So if that was the easiest spot for you to make friends was with the team, which I think is most predictable. You're put in a situation, moving away, you're going to embrace the people that you're going there with. Was it easier to make friends post-college there, or I guess, was it more difficult to make friends once you moved down South Louisiana, or was it more difficult to make friends after college?
It was more difficult coming down here. When I left El Paso to go to Pittsburgh, I sort of missed my people in El Paso.
Naturally.
Right? However, I moved into a situation where now I had like 100 brothers, right? I had 100 different personalities. And, obviously, like I just said, you figured out who your core people were going to be.
Yes.
So that made it a lot easier, right? The transition. And then I leave the area and I come to a brand new area. Wasn't so easy, right? I had my boss.
All right.
Right? I had
Oh,
my
wow.
boss.
That became your friend?
Well, yeah. He
Those
was the
are
one I
weird
hung out with.
situations. Yeah. When your boss is your boy and you don't really have a choice.
Yeah. So we hung out a little bit, but, I couldn't a lot
You're
because
not
he's
still
family.
your boss.
No. That's still my boss.
All
no.
right. So you can talk a little crap out of him if you need
Oh,
to.
no. He's great. He's still a friend.
Okay. All right. Well, there you
He's
go.
still a
All
friend,
right. I was ready for you to go off on him.
Big Kenny, yeah, no, he's still a friend. But no, he was that person. So then I discovered casinos. That's when I discovered casinos.
So Big Kenny's part of the reason that we're friends.
Yes.
There you
So I discovered Treasure Chest. I don't know if you ever played at Treasure Chest.
Can't say that I have.
Yeah, that's where I met one of my friends that are very successful. That's where I met Jason. He was a dealer there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
a dealer
wow. I
there.
didn't realize that Jason, yeah, mutual friend of ours
Yep.
from casino days, poker days.
Yep.
Didn't realize that he dealt there.
Yeah, he dealt there. And my first game was 7-card stud. Was 7-card stud. Yes. Yes.
7-card stud is a game that no one plays, folks.
Not any, well,
Unless
they do.
you're old.
Well, unless you're old or you're at the WSOP and
Well,
you're playing that tournament.
all right.
Because
Well,
it's
if
just
you're playing
tournament play. It's not like live action anymore.
Yeah, no, nothing.
And 7-card stud, low card opened. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know how to play 7-card stud.
Yeah. It's poker talk. Poker talk right now.
And
Yeah,
that's when I first was introduced to 1 to 8 half and half. That's when it was big here in Louisiana. Omaha.
Oh, yeah.
Omaha Hold'em. Because they loved
Omaha what?
Omaha and Hold'em.
Oh, I thought you said Omaha Hold'em. I was like, no, that doesn't.
That's what I said. Omaha Hold'em. Half Omaha.
Oh,
Half
and
Hold'em.
half.
Half and half. Yeah, that's when I discovered 1 to 8, not 1-8, 1 to 8,
Okay.
half and half, Omaha and Hold'em.
And what he means by half and half is you're not playing two games at the same time,
No.
so to speak. You are playing a round of Hold'em, a round of Omaha.
So if there's 10 people at the table, which usually that's what it holds.
Not for Omaha.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all played 10 in Omaha, huh?
10, yeah.
Really?
It's 10.
That's
Yeah.
a horrible Omaha game with 10 people.
Exactly.
Is there
It's
even
10.
enough cards in the deck?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll believe you.
10. So there'll be 10. The button has to go around all 10 people. When it comes back to the dealer, the actual dealer, it starts a new game. But the thing is, it might have been 8 people. But the thing is, when I saw that game, I thought it was too fast. I was scared of it. So I just kept playing my little slow 7-card stud.
Oh, well, no, it works out. So Kenny got you to treasure chest. Ray became an all-time 7-card stud player. And you made friends how else?
Played craps.
So all your friends came from the casino?
Yeah.
Whenever you moved down here? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I get it, man. You didn't. You know.
And then you started talking to the servers. And then the servers became friends. And then...
Did you live right by a treasure chest?
I did.
Something? Okay. All right. That makes sense then.
Well, I mean, I lived in Harahan.
No. But meaning that it was more of a social outing, more and not necessarily a gambling addiction.
No.
It was just convenient and an easy place to go talk to people because you were making friends.
Yeah, and I'm not a club guy. Didn't like going. Yeah,
Even with your breakdancing history.
Yeah, I got the club stuff out of my system in college. So when I moved down here, it was like, all right, I'm done. So it was just casinos, and yeah, it was more social, just hanging out.
Yeah, I think it's
Didn't make friends per se, but Jason was the guy I would talk to like every time I came up here to play.
No, he is. Yeah, I became friends with him, and in fact, the guy that we're speaking of is successful realtor, and he did poker as a way to put himself in a position to become a successful realtor in our area, and he's one of the biggest. In fact, he sold my house for me before we bought this one, and so no, it's good to meet people like that, and like we were saying, kind of leveling up in life. He went from being with poker dealers to being with real estate guys now. And that's probably his circle. Still has his friends back from the poker days, which that's where we translated from. And then our relationship that was based around poker then helped me sell a house and move into a house that we think we might live in forever, which is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. The funny thing about meeting him and him talking about Ponchatoula, I just thought it was so far away. I'm like, there's no way. I would never go to Ponchatoula.
I mean, it is
Out
kind
of
of
Canada.
far away, though.
What's that?
It is kind of far away.
Yeah, but when you start driving it,
Yeah.
it's not too bad.
You can convince yourself anything's close when you
Not
start
too bad.
driving it.
Yeah,
but
it's not too bad, especially with the prices of houses out there in the Kenner, Metairie area.
let's get real local on them. Basically, the suburbs of New Orleans, folks. That's what he's talking about, within 15 miles of the city itself. But
Putting it out there.
Yep. No, I would say that I'm pretty fortunate that I've been able to, I'd say fortunate. I didn't move great distances, right? I didn't move from Texas to Pittsburgh to New Orleans and have to really navigate finding new friends. I guess my settings were put into place because the best man at my wedding was my friend since second grade. That's pretty easy. But also in my wedding, I thought it was always really cool whenever I looked back on it when we started talking about our friends throughout life, where my best man was the guy that I was friends with the longest in life. But I also had guys that I went to high school with. And then I also had guys that I met in college. So I had at least one person from each of those eras of life that served in my wedding and still friends with them to this day. And I know so many people get married and, oh, that guy was the best man at my wedding. I talked to him in 15 years or more.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't think it's weird. I think it's very common because you get married sometimes without kids. And when you get married without kids and then you start a family of your own, or even if you get married and you do have kids, well, the focus shifts and then that family usually grows. And if you live more than 30, 40 minutes away or your kids are not in the same age demo, I think it's very easy to get away from that. I was a bad friend. The friend that I ran into this past weekend at the travel ball tournament, I was the best man at his wedding. His daughter is my godchild. I hadn't seen her in probably 2 years.
Is it who I'm thinking it is?
I don't know. Probably not. You don't know.
Okay.
And then, and that's what I told her. I was like, I'm so sorry. I've been a bad friend. That's why you hadn't seen me.
Where is he though?
He lives in Baton Rouge.
Well, that's.
It is, but it's the effort that it takes. Now we've still been in contact. We still talk. We're all in the same group text.
You got the Facebook?
Yeah. Man,
Does he have the Facebook?
Yeah.
There you go.
But that's not.
That's easy.
Well, I mean, I know what's going on in life, and he knows the same as well.
Yeah.
But as far as being a quote unquote good friend, no, I could have been a better one with a lot of people. And I'm sure most people feel that way if you really reflect on it.
And dads will know. Look, there's no manual on raising these kids. There's none. There's no manual. There's guides. There's maybe there's some books out there. There's us trying to help out, right?
Yeah, trying to talk things through. Yeah.
Right. There's nothing like that, and it all depends. It all depends on your family. I mean, you could have had a wife that was really naggy. I'm like, where are you going? Where are you going? Where are you going? You didn't. But
She
I'm just saying,
asked me what's for supper, and that's pretty naggy.
Yeah. Right, but you didn't. But he could have had that kind of wife, or you could have had a son that you.
Funny you say that, but we'll move on.
Well, I'm just saying, like, you're right. It's all about your family because now it's your family that you have to think about.
Right.
I mean,
no, I agree.
That's my
I
boy.
agree.
He's in Baton Rouge. In Baton Rouge, it all depends on where in Baton Rouge. That's an hour to an hour and a half away.
No, but what I'm saying is that been a bad friend because I'm holding myself to a higher standard of what I know a good friend should do. How about that? Does that make sense?
Why don't you break that down for me?
I know that I should pick up the phone more. I know that I should send a direct text. I know I should find a way to meet up. Now, yes, you could say that, did that person do the same? Well, they should do this. They should do that. But when you start doing that, then you're kind of scorekeeping on your own friendship. And is that really a friendship? So it's a personal thing for me, like accountability for myself, not trying to say, well, he didn't do this. Ray, you and I didn't talk for years. We'd sometimes run into each other, see each other.
Right.
Never took it personal that, man, Ray never texted me or called me. And I have one of my best friends, a girl that went to high school with, and we would go through spurts where we didn't talk forever. And the second we saw each other, it was great. And my wife and her are really good friends with her husband. And we've been friends since we were 16 years old. Mm-hmm. And she doesn't live that far away. No kids, married, lives near the city of New Orleans. And we don't miss a beat whenever we catch up. Always see each other during Mardi Gras. Mm-hmm. Always going to be a party. Mm-hmm. We know that our friendship is not going to be able to sustain the entire year just because what they have going on, what I have going on. But we never miss a beat. And as soon as Mardi Gras time rolls around, boom, where's Katie? Where's Ben? Let's go party. Mm-hmm. That's what happens. And so, yes, I'm holding myself accountable in friendship situations that I know I should be a better friend in. But I don't see all those people. Everybody has all their stuff. Oh, we're so busy. It's this. We have that the following weekend. I mean, I'm not taking it personal. I'm not getting upset with them because I don't see them. It'd be better if I did. It'd be better if we can find a way. My buddies in Homa always trying to find a way. Hey, man, we're doing a crawfish boil, renting a party bus for my wife's birthday. We're going to try to make it. I don't know what we have going on. Sometimes we make it, but maybe the hit rate is 15% of the time in life that we actually get to make it, if that high.
But at least you're getting the invite. You know, they're being a friend.
Well, yes.
Right?
Yes.
They're being a friend. And you're trying to be a friend as well by the 15% rate. But you're still being a friend. And the thing that I love though is that you're still holding yourself accountable to not being as good a friend to some of these folks, right? Where you have guys who are like, man, it just been swamped, been so big. They're not holding themselves accountable. They're living in those excuses to allow them to say, he's got to understand.
Yeah,
maybe
I
in their
think
head.
as long as someone doesn't hold a grudge because the other person didn't reach out, you're good. Once someone takes it personal that you didn't reach out, I think that's where it's not a real friendship.
Agreed.
I think that's where you shouldn't be friends anymore.
Agreed.
If a person takes it personal that you hadn't reached out to them and just hold on to that and like, well, they hadn't called. Why they hadn't called? Well, I ain't calling them. They hadn't called. Pick up the damn phone and call.
Right. Yeah, that's
I think that's the part
issue.
where it is. As long as you can both admit that we should try to do more to see each other, then you're good. But once you say they don't try, then well, you should probably just move on. Level up. Get rid of that person. Step on top of them, whatever it takes. But no, the whole hang out with 5 fit people, you'll become the 6. Hang out with 5 smokers, you'll become the 6. I think those cliches exist for a reason, like most cliches do exist for a reason. Mm-hmm. And the conversation of surrounding yourself, I think it's so cliche. Of course you want to be friends with people that are successful, right? I mean, who wants to say, man, where's the junkie? I'd like him to be my new best friend.
Well,
no one says that.
I know no one says it, but it happens.
It does happen.
I don't like that it happens, but it happens. I make it a point to point out, my friends, you, Jason. I got another buddy that owns a financial institution. I mean, there's several, and that's my buddy that usually takes me to an LSU game at the end of the year. Right. LSU football game at the end of the year, and he's got box seats. Oh, I'm making a point. Hey, look, fam, I'm making a point to show them what's up because I want them to see that you need to surround yourself with these people because good things come. Good things come, and not just for him. Not just the tickets. It's not the tickets and whatnot, but we still have a relationship, right? We still have a relationship where we're talking about different things, but I make it a point, and I want them to see that so that they themselves will surround themselves.
That within social circles, where it's very easy and people start to compare themselves to someone else, and then resentment forms, and we know how that goes. That starts at a young age whenever you're envious because your friend just got the new PlayStation and you still got the old one and you're begging for and now you're jealous, right? Friend buys a new car, friend buys a new house. I don't know, friend might find the new wife, whatever it may be, where you start to compare yourself and start to form some type of resentment. Not realizing that social circle was formed because there was something that person admired about you to begin with. So take some self-reflection and realize that if your social circle of your really tight group, right, there's 7 or 8 of us that are extremely tight, right? Probably more than that, but 7 or 8 of us that are extremely tight, we call each other brothers type thing. And no one is jealous of the other one in the way that creates resentment. Jealous in them in the way that, man, that's really great that they have that for this reason and happy for them.
Yes.
How do I get that?
Yes.
And then this person over here has something that everybody is kind of drawn to. Now, it may be different. The thing that you're drawn to of this one may be different than what I'm drawn to this one. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes a close group of friends, knowing that each one has that one person that they can rely on for something. trying to instill that into a 9-year-old right now is a challenge all in itself, because I think it's something that me as an adult, it's a challenge for as well. Letting him know that, who are you friends with? Why are you friends with them? Well, who's his best friends? The kids he goes to school with. Why? Because he's with them all the time. Mm-hmm. Who's his second best group of friends? His baseball buddies. Why? Because he's with them all the time. Mm-hmm. But with that, the same way that you went to Pitt and said that that group that does that thing is not my group that I'm going to hang out with, I'm trying to help him figure out, based off of the parents of those kids and the personality that I see that that kid may have, of trying to help steer him in the direction of what I think would be a good friend or a good person for later on down the life. Like I said, my best man and I started school together in 2nd grade, and he was my best man and I was his best man. Mm-hmm. He's in 3rd. Maybe he might be hanging out with his best man over his wedding right now. I hope so, because it's pretty awesome, because I still talk to that guy, and he's got 2 beautiful daughters, and his wife is awesome. And we went to Italy together, and we traveled before we had kids, and those were phenomenal times. And we have so many laughs and so many things that we can look back on, that whenever I put in perspective that I have a little guy living in the house right there that may be hanging out with his best man, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, I don't know. I have self-doubt myself.
Self-doubt in which way?
What am I bringing to you guys? Like, what am I bringing? I mean, I'm not the richest guy. I'm not the wealthiest guy. I'm not the smartest guy. I'm sort of the most athletic. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. But that doesn't mean anything now. I mean, at 53, I mean, that doesn't really mean anything.
Yes,
even at 45.
It means something.
You know, I don't know.
Definitely
I just look, like my wife would not leave because we had 2 friends that lived across the street.
Okay.
They were just outstanding. Like the one friend over here.
Meaning you didn't want to even sell your house because you enjoyed your neighbors that much?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
The one friend over here, if I had any kind of electrical issues, amen, he'd come over and we'd work through it together.
Okay.
My other friend, he was Home Depot with anything. Like, hey, I'm opening the garage. Go in, look left, look up. just itemized tools, pieces, faster, whatever. And I'm like, whatever you need. So like,
and you felt like they didn't ask you for enough stuff.
No.
To hold up your weight.
No.
Or you're into the friendship. So
no. So there was an instance where his wife, he was gone. Okay, he works in different places. He was like, "Hey, can you go over to the house? 6 o'clock in the morning." She thinks she hears him. I was gone. Like, yeah. I was over there. Boom. I was across the street over there. There was nothing going on, but I was just so happy that I could.
No.
Is that goofy? Is that goofy of me?
I don't know. I don't think it is. I think that goes with insecurities that people have. You have to have insecurities people have. Not all insecurities are a bad thing. Certain insecurities create a positive energy because you're trying to show your worth. Right? And showing your worth just means, in this situation, of being a dependable, loyal friend. That's a pretty good way to show your worth to somebody.
Yeah.
So, no, good job. Yeah. I would feel comfortable if I said I think something is going on, and I'm sending that dude right there to go check the situation. I'm gonna feel pretty comfortable about that whole scenario going on.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, though. You hit loyalty. You know, when you have loyalty, when you feel that from those people, they're in your group.
Isn't that what we try to create for our kids? Find the loyal friends.
Find the loyal ones. Right?
Find the loyal friends.
You find those. Like, I know my daughter's got a nice little group. I think it's a girl and a boy, and then she's got 2 or 3 more girls that are just a core group of friends. They've been together since middle school, and I just love it. And we embrace it, and we just see just how the loyalty, and I think that's what I had with those 2, and you know, with you and with everybody else that I call friend, right? That I call friend. I feel like, and you know, I'm not going to ask for stuff, but at the same time, if I was asked, I'm gonna be there, right? I'm gonna be there, and I just feel like if I did have to ask, I know that you guys will be there, right? So, but at the same time, there's always sometimes there's just that self.
No, I think you're fine. I think that's what it is.
Self-doubt that
You should.
happens,
You should have self-doubt. Self-doubt it allows you to not just be complacent because you're trying to improve.
So it makes sense.
So have some self-doubt.
Yeah.
And it creates a little accountability. Like proving your worth to your friends, even though it's not in the worth of you feel like you bring nothing to the table. You just want to make sure that you're holding, hey, I can help. I can be there.
But
loyal friend.
I think you hit it on the head again too, is we're trying to teach our kids to find those people in their lives.
Yeah.
And
every day. It's really hard to do.
And the key for you too is that you're still in the area, okay? You're still in the area, Southern Louisiana,
right, of
where you grew up. Whereas I moved from El Paso all the way to Pittsburgh, right? All the way to Pittsburgh. And I'm not going to say I have charisma, but I was inept enough, not so introverted, right? I was a tad bit extroverted enough to start some conversations with people. And then as I learned with my different friends, and that I got, I call it out, Sadiq and Jails, who were teammates of mine, and now still my friends to this day, right? Friends to this day, like I can call Sadiq right now, and we'll call each other our non-government names. I'm not going to talk about those names on here, but I reach out to them, and guys like that had shown me, because I was sort of like I think I said extroverted. No, I was more introverted. I was a guy from El Paso who came up there, and they knew that I was green. Okay, I was green. And,
quick side jog on that. Mm-hmm. You play Dungeons and Dragons with them?
No.
Okay. All right. Back to it.
Not
so
at
they
all.
knew that you were green.
Not at all.
And
yeah, those are the guys that took me to the club when I turned 21. Took me to the bar.
Okay.
Right. I had my first drinks with them. This is how you use the L word. I'm like, you don't use the L word, man. You don't use the L word. All right. And young guys using the L word, don't do that. Don't tell a girl you love them. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I mean, I guess, unless you do, then go for it.
Unless you do, but don't do it just to do it.
I don't have a daughter, but I'm feeling a lot more of some dude better not tell my daughter they love them until I'm ready to hear that dude until you're ready to hear it almost. Is that what I'm sensing?
Well, the scary part about that, we might be going down a different tangent here, but the scary part about that is there are girls who need to or want to have a boy that looks decent, right? It looks decent.
That's fair. I think we all would like to have a partner that we are attracted to. I think that's
attraction is the first thing. But when they hear the L word, when they hear I love you after a day,
well,
that's a problem. And I'm talking about with her confidence, right? I'm talking about with her confidence. And that's another reason why us dads got to be around, and we've got to, as a matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of this guy.
Okay. Who?
MGK.
No, he's a turd.
Yeah. But he has a daughter that he had with another individual that lives in Cleveland. He doesn't live in Cleveland, so he goes there as often as possible. He goes to all of her games, right? He goes to all of her games, and he's there, and he supports her, and he's there just telling her, he loves her. He's there for her, yada yada yada, right? And just being a good dad, even though he's. Is
he being a good dad or just being a dad? It sounds like to me.
I think if you're going to fly to Cleveland from wherever you live, L.A., wherever it may be,
he has the
I
means.
think it's being a good. Yeah, he has the means to do it.
I mean,
I'm not saying being a good dad means that you can fly to wherever you got to fly to. I'm just saying be there for your daughters and your sons.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
be there, not just be present, but be there. I'm gonna give you another example here in a second. What I'm saying is,
I just don't think that he deserves a reward because Eminem made him stop rapping and start singing punk rock, and he goes watch his daughter play softball. I don't think that.
Well, volleyball, but no, I'm not giving a reward. I'm just saying, but he's there. He's trying to be a good dad, and not just being there like I'm here and I'm sitting here watching, but I'm also engaging with her. Right? I'm also engaging like you engage with your boy. So that's another piece. When you guys were taking some BP, did he get hurt at all?
He just wanted to pitch.
so
No, actually, I take that back.
Is it a machine or is it you pitching?
Oh, the machine's right here.
Okay, got you.
And then my shoulder hurt. But he wanted to go work on pitching. And we're working on pitching, and then he's doing well. And then I thought we were done, and then he asked to hit some. Can I hit live? I'm like, well, normally we go through our normal training progressions of everything, whatever we do. He wanted to hit live. I'm like, you know what, dude? Bucket of balls. Let's go with it. So threw some, wasn't warm. He asked me if I was warm. I think I lit him up once, but he probably deserved it, so wasn't too bad. It bounced in, so I shorted it. I didn't even hit him square in the back. It like bounced in and hit him in the thigh.
Oh, yeah?
So he didn't skip leg day, so he's good.
Oh, he didn't react then, huh?
Well, I mean, he did. I mean, they get a little whiny whenever they get hit, and
Yeah.
all of them. I don't know one. You know what? Take that back. There's one kid that we play with. Kid got popped in the mouth with a bat whenever he was playing catcher. The bat got thrown back and hit him in the mouth, and this kid just sucked it up and played. And the kid that hit him actually broke down crying. And the kid that got hit in the mouth was like, I'm good, man. And then they went and they bought him ice cream after the game and had their little moment and took a picture. But no, that kid's built different. The little
tough.
catcher. Yeah, he's built different.
No, I'm crying. I'm definitely crying getting hit in the mouth with a bat.
I think it would be okay. I wouldn't call you less of a man if you got hit in the mouth with a bat, no matter the age.
No, you know, that's funny. I saw a video when you're talking about BP and all that good stuff. I saw a video, kid taking BP from dad.
Okay.
And got hit in the finger. I guess he was choked up a little too far, maybe. It got hit in the finger and started crying, wailing.
Like he was
dropped
dying.
the ball like he was dying. Dropped the bat, not the ball. Dropped the bat. Dad said, pick up the bat, get in your stance, get ready to swing. And he did it 4 times. And then after the 4th time, he goes, who cares that you're crying? And the kid goes, nobody. Right? That's right. Nobody cares. Work harder. And that's basically what his dad did. And that's what we need to do as dads. Right? That's what we need to do as dads is, you know, when these kids on these minor little injuries, don't go coddle them. They got to work through it. I think one of the
I try not to.
biggest things is, you know, I think the quote is just pain is weakness leaving your body. Right? And that's what it is. When you get hit with a ball and it's your finger and you got a wail like that, nah, that's just weakness. You gotta let your body.
I agree. We're not exactly reinventing the wheel here when we say be tough, but there are certain moments when the be tough needs to be said to kids, and there are certain moments when, you know, they need mom, plain and simple. And I think it's okay. Getting hit with a ball in the hand and you're going to play a sport, probably a be tough moment. Getting hit in the mouth with a bat, I think it's okay to be a mom moment there.
I think that's 100% mom moment. And look, moms that have to be dad, sometimes you're going to have to step back and he's going to have to suck it up.
Well, that's
got to understand that.
The suck it up mentality, right? And I think it makes it very, very hard nowadays for certain kids because we have this phrase that is amusing. It kind of goes along with your woke fascination. Well, actually, I'm fascinated with woke people, but probably the toxic masculinity.
I'm not fascinated by the
No,
woke.
I am. They amuse me. I love them. They're the best people in the world. They are. They let me know exactly what I won't be in life.
I just want to know. I just want to understand.
So, but I think toxic masculinity, a phrase used by the woke, would be something that they would call us having right now by telling our kid not to cry, get back in the box, and hit again. Or you fell off your bike, deal with it, come on, stop being a wuss, whatever it may be. That phrase right there is perfectly acceptable. If you want to say that's what that is, then so be it. But rolling around the ground crying isn't really going to solve anything either. So, I don't know. I'm indifferent to also where if a kid wants to cry, this is what I typically did with my dude whenever he was a baby and he'd throw a fit, not necessarily hurt. I would just stare at him. Just stare. And I still do it to this day. So if he's mad or upset or if he gets hurt or I think he needs to just get over it, I just lock in and stare at him until he feels uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, you're the one being weird, so stop crying so we can move on with this. And then he stops.
I mean, it's easy for us to say that because I do the same thing, right? I mean, look at me. If I stare at you, I mean, right? So if it's and I'm staring at my kids, I don't. That's another thing too. Is in my household,
Right.
there is a difference. Like I think we talked about the favorites. Like my wife is the favorite.
Yes,
but
you're not.
I am not. But she's also the one that they run over sometimes when they shouldn't be, right? They're the ones that they'll question her, and then when they start hearing the footsteps coming down the hallway, like what's going on, the questioning stops, right? The questioning
No more
stops.
challenge of authority whenever the authority shows up.
And you know, now sometimes I mean, look, and that's probably why she's a favorite because she also listens to when they have to talk, when they have to get stuff off their chest. I try to be there for him, but I don't think I'm that. I don't know what it is.
He picks his moments with us. I'll say that. He picks his moments. Yeah, I might be the favorite, but he definitely picks his moments on who he wants to tell what. I have no idea why, but he is very observant and very, very in tune to picking up on emotions and body language from all people. So he lives with us, so he probably has a really good read on both of us. Mm-hmm. And for whatever reason, there are certain things that he says, hey, I want to talk to Dad. And wife's like, okay, so this is like at bedtime. Jerrard, come upstairs. Luke wants to talk to you. And I go up there, and he wants to tell me something, and I come downstairs. She's like, what was that about? I'm like, the weirdest thing ever. Give her this scenario. She was like, why do you want to talk to you? I don't know. Didn't want you to know. I don't know why. And he does advice for, hey, don't tell Dad, and then he'll tell Mom something. And
you guys tell each other anyways, but
we do. I don't always. I'll say that. I'll admit. He asked me to say, hey, don't tell. All right. Well, this one right here, we can keep this one between you and I because it's not really that big of a deal.
If it's not big of a deal,
but I don't want him to. I don't want him to lose that trust in me for later. So even if I do tell my wife, which 95, 99% of the things I will tell her whenever he says that, mm-hmm. It's one of those where I want her to know that he came to me with confidence.
Yeah.
To say, don't tell Mom this.
Yeah.
So when he mentions it, hear it. If he does mention it to you, hear it for the first time. Mm-hmm. And it's more of a heads up of he's building this relationship of trust with both of us. Mm-hmm. I don't know how long we're going to keep it because eventually he's going to be a teenager and we're going to butt heads. And he's going to butt heads with me about one thing and he's going to butt heads with Mom about another thing. And you've lived this more than once.
Like I said, she's like the favorite.
Right.
Like they brought all kinds of stuff to her. The stuff I wish they wouldn't have brought to her.
So, well, all right. Well, how about this, though? Because you're big, protective dad. Mm-hmm. If something really went down, they're going to want Dad to come handle it for them.
Oh, yeah.
When they got hurt, who do they go to?
Mom.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. Because I could see that going the other way as well.
Absolutely.
I know most kids want their mom when they get hurt, but Dad's the protector. I could also see them wanting Dad when they get hurt, too. So...
They haven't gotten hurt so bad where it's Dad. I need Dad. It's more...
I guess you're fortunate from that standpoint.
Yes.
That would be a fortunate thing.
But they have such a good relationship with her that we haven't had those pangs, those teenage angst kind of things. They're really open with her, the girls, and our oldest, like he's mama's boy, through and through, even at this age. He calls her almost on a daily basis.
You know what? I don't know if I'm the right person to call the dad rule okay because I couldn't be a mama's boy, right? Because like we said,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, I lost my mom at a young age. But I'll say this. I'm okay with a dad rule of it's okay to be a mama's boy as long as Dad says it's okay to be a mama's boy.
That's a great dad rule.
Once Dad says you can't, you got to listen. Yeah. So let your boys be a mama's boy, but know that there's a certain point, Mom, whenever Dad says mama's boy over, is over. It's time to be a man.
Yeah, I don't know if that'll ever happen.
It has to happen.
I don't know if it'll ever happen, but
It
that's
has
a good
to
dad
happen.
rule. That's a good dad rule. I like that one. Hey, so did you
See what?
did you collect baseball cards?
No.
What the hell? What?
Can we go into that?
You didn't collect baseball cards? Basketball cards?
I mean,
Football cards?
I had cards.
What did you do as a kid? What'd you do?
I ate pizza and got fat, right?
So there were like no other hobbies?
No, I mean I played sports. I wasn't a big collecting. I had cards. I enjoyed them. I never pursued them. I'd get a pack of cards. I'd put them in my binder. Probably have them stuck somewhere at my dad's house. I don't think I have any cards of worth.
With like the Saints or something like that, or
A baseball card more than
something.
football cards. I didn't really have. I just didn't. I wasn't in it. I know that. I think that card collecting has had a bigger revival than bookstores lately. But, that new Barnes and Noble that Ray told us about on Jubin.
it's crazy.
But card collecting is a big deal.
It's a roller coaster.
In fact, one of my best friends, Davey Berg, he and his son are heavy into the card collecting. They have got some one-of-ones that are worth quite a bit. They've got some really old cards that they went through at his dad's house that a collection worth quite a bit at this point. And from nothing more of they were just
Sitting there. Yeah.
And then his son got into it because he's like, wait up, this is worth this is worth this. And he kind of got fascinated with the find. And so they're into it, and I think they're still into it. They were into it the last couple of years. I'd imagine he's probably still into it. He hasn't really gotten into girls at this age yet. Probably.
How old is he?
12. So he's he's like knocking on the door of being done with collecting cards and strictly Dungeons and Dragons.
It's going to be it's going to come like this.
Yeah. So I think they're enjoying the card collecting. No, I didn't.
Comic books?
I don't think I've never owned a comic book in my life.
I've got boxes of comic books.
I believe you.
Boxes.
Where are they at now?
Storage.
Oh,
They're in storage.
she doesn't let you display them on the mantle.
What's that?
She doesn't let you display them at the house.
No.
No,
No.
Would you like to bring some? Would you like to bring some comic books into
I would
the
like
sweatshed?
to put.
We can put
some up.
comic book corner. Maybe we can find a spot.
Oh man.
We can have. Maybe we could do readings once a month. Ray can read a comic book to us, and I can see if it keeps my attention span or not.
It won't.
Why? You collected these books that
books.
didn't keep your. Are you allowed to read them? I didn't. Are you allowed to read comic
Not
books?
now because they're pretty old. But the thing is, with a comic book, it's not something that you read to somebody. It's something you got to read and interact with because it's
You
not only
interact.
you have to see the animations in the
okay.
comic book
Okay.
in order to enjoy the comic book. It's not like reading a book and you read it to a bunch of kids or whatever.
Gotcha.
And you got to fake the
You
accents.
have to
and all
have.
that stuff.
You have to have the visual.
You have to,
Or else
in
it's-
order to read a comic book, or it's that's why they make fun of jocks.
What's your
with
favorite
picture
comic
books.
book?
I was a Spider-Man guy, followed by the X-Men, which is very popular right now because of the
X-Men.
movies.
That's Wolverine and crew.
Yeah, Wolverine, Cyclops, Colossus, all those guys.
Storm.
Deadpool.
Was that one of them?
Storm. Yeah,
Got that
Deadpool.
one.
Yeah.
Deadpool was an X-Men?
Yeah, he was an X-Men.
Didn't know that.
And he was, that's the comics that he came out of. And, obviously he's really popular just only because of that actor. If it wasn't for him emulating, he basically was Deadpool.
Give that actor name a shot. Go for it.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Oh, I got it. Green Lantern. He played Green Lantern.
Not his name, though.
But his name is Ryan Reynolds.
There you go.
Yeah.
You were fishing for it.
I was.
You were. You had to go Green
digging,
Lantern
brother.
to find his name.
Yeah, I was digging.
Real comic book guy right there.
I wanted to go. Boy, did they mess up him and his wife in bullying that director in that movie.
Oh, whatever. That's Hollywood people. Who cares?
Well, yeah, it is. Who cares? But
I wasn't.
prima donna
Yeah, well, they all
donna.
are. They
prima donna.
pretend on screen and get paid millions. They're not exactly the smartest people in the world. I think we give entertainers way too much credit.
Way too much
for their.
I agree. Way too much. I'm sorry to say that, but we do.
Well, I'm not sorry to say it.
We do. I
We
mean,
give entertainers way too much.
I think when I think it's
just
ridiculous
what-
when you want to go beat somebody up because they don't believe what you believe. That's what kills me.
That's kind of like bullying. It's like,
Let me ask you this question.
all right,
This question.
let's nerd together.
We both enjoy poker. Probably love poker. I don't know. I love poker, even though I don't play it as much, or I'm not very good at it.
You keep saying that.
I
don't remember. Were you really not good?
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
library.
you were. Yeah,
I
you
was
were.
not good.
You weren't.
I have a library of books. I've got I have Doyle's Super System. All those books. I've got a huge library of books and still not good. So self-taught on how to play that game, right?
Most of us, yeah, were.
Well,
to
I
an
mean,
extent.
of course, we talked about that, and then I guess more in a more modern age, I've been looking at different YouTube things here and there when I decide to go back in just to refresh me.
Yeah, there's
right?
it's GTO. That's the big thing nowadays.
It's huge, but I think the Granus figured it out.
Yeah,
Even though he
made
took
a deep run
huge
last
loss.
week.
Yeah. Even though he took a huge loss in 23. Took a huge loss in 23. But I think he figured it out, combining his game with GTO. However, would you teach your boy how to play poker?
he asked me at least twice a month.
So I'm going to answer the question for me.
Right.
I don't want my kids to learn how to play poker.
I want him to learn. Now.
But see, I think you've had more upside on your game. I told you I'm bad. I've had more downside on my game. I don't want them to go through the stuff that I've gone through. I don't want them to go through the stuff I've gone through. It sucks. It sucks being up.
Such a great game.
It sucks being up 1,100, okay, and losing it in one hand.
But it's part of it. It's part of it.
I know it is.
It happens. That's the difference.
Exactly.
I can say this whenever for people that don't play, if you sit down at the table and you have $1,100 in front of you and you see it as $1,100, get up.
Leave. And I think that's my problem. That's why I don't play right now, because when I met you, it was a resource. I didn't even think of it as money.
Yeah.
Right? It wasn't money. It was like chips.
The way you keep count.
Yep. It was chips.
The way you keep score.
I want to get back to that thought process, and I can't. And maybe it's because I've had 4 kids.
No, that makes sense. I don't fault you for that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't think that way, but whenever we had talked about way back when, like I have never gone into my personal bank account to get money out to go play poker. How about that?
Yeah, so
Right?
that's what I'm saying. You've had more ups than I have. I'm telling you.
Through sustained discipline, I think. I never needed poker to pay a bill.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying you did, but
No,
it does. But it makes it different for other people.
it does.
Meaning that if I teach him how to play the game, he will learn how to play tournament poker. Because he doesn't
That's
need
better.
to,
Yeah.
So he doesn't need to risk the money he doesn't have. It could be, I will teach you how to play from a tournament perspective. And that way, whenever you turn 21, we can fly out to Vegas and we can go play in the World Series of Poker and put you in an event.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind
No.
of thing.
No. I like that.
So
I like that.
not let's roll you up, stick you in a cash game. Here's $5,000. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. There's people that like backed me, and they're like, I'd rather back you tournaments. I'm like, I could be out before I make the money, but if you back me live, I'll back you in a tournament.
So
I'll back you in tournaments. That makes sense. No, that makes
yeah.
sense. That's
I mean,
good.
I would rather back someone in a cash game if I thought they were a player. Cash game is way more profitable than backing someone in a tournament.
I think so.
But like you just alluded to like you've alluded to multiple times, you weren't very good.
No, I'm not.
So maybe that's why they said I'd rather him catch fire in a tournament and run it up than sit there in a cash game.
I wasn't good.
So I think
I
think you're swell though.
I thought it was good. I thought it was good.
I can't say up until we started doing this, I thought you were okay. Now I'm really doubting my ability to judge how good you were. Maybe I should have taken more off of you back then.
Nah.
No?
No, you wouldn't have got more off of me.
Because you'd have just folded.
Yeah, like I always did. I always folded.
Always had it.
You know, I was good back then, right? But more recently, it's money now.
No,
right?
and
it's money now.
That's understandable.
But back then, I was a beast.
That's all right. We're gonna go play in the main event. Each throw up a 10,000 to go play in the main event. Yeah. There you go. Right? That's our pipe dream.
You know what's sad is how that, even though it's the main event, there's so many more tournaments worth so much, the $25,000, the $50,000.
Yeah, but there's still only one main event.
Oh yeah, of course that's the main event.
So
it's always going to be, but it's just amazing how.
No, there are events that are, I mean, obviously, way more money to win up top, but there's none as prestigious as the World Series of Poker main event.
No, that's a big deal.
Yeah,
that's a big deal.
The Super Bowl, it's the World Series, it's the World Cup, it's every single major sporting event. Poker's not a sport, but comparable to that. That's what poker has.
I used to believe it was a sport.
Shut up. You played Division I football, and you're going to give poker a straight. It's a game.
Yeah. It is a game. I'm like, we athletes, man. We sit at these tables.
We athletes. Half the dudes don't wear deodorant. Throwing out Lucky Dogs. Man. We athletes.
It's just like, yo.
Give me my 37th Diet Coke at the table. We athletes.
Table change. So table change, seat change. I gotta get away from this dude.
Poker in the South in the summer, not a great place. Especially they go outside to go smoke, and then it
trails in with
the heat combined with the BO and the stale smoke. It's awesome. Just gets me ready to go play poker again.
Yeah,
let's go. Well, as we dream about possibly playing poker again, sitting next to smoke, stinky Southern dudes who are probably wearing Spurries with no socks because that's a good smell, or Crocs with no socks. Probably Crocs and socks. I don't know. Whatever. Crocs. That's a whole nother.
Crocs with no socks.
I don't even think we talked about Crocs in our big fashion breakdown. But anyways, we'll talk about Crocs. We are not a Croc family. That's for sure. Not a Croc guy. Ray, you a Croc guy?
I am not, but.
Okay. Maybe we did talk about Crocs.
My daughters love their Crocs.
Well, yeah, they're really. No, we did talk about Crocs.
Briefly.
Yeah, briefly. Well, as we sit here and reminisce and contemplate going to play poker, maybe one day Ray will be able to do that without wearing Crocs at the table because
I don't wear Crocs.
Because he doesn't wear Crocs. Nonetheless, we appreciate everyone for tuning in to another episode. Make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell. That way you know when a new episode gets released. And until next time, we will see you on
New Dad Order.
Thank you for joining us from the New Dad Order podcast. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop us a comment below. Let us know what you would like to see here. Why not? It costs you $0 to hit the subscribe button. Appreciate you guys.